We're glad to have you back. There is no doubt that the country's macroeconomic management framework continues to pose serious challenges to investors in the economy. This situation has been further compounded by the shocks and disruptions inflicted by Russian invasion of Ukraine and the lingering effects of COVID-19. The fragile macroeconomic conditions still remains a major concern in light of this. In fact, there is no gainsaying that the country's manufacturing sector has been bedeviled with negative containment amid harsh policies from both fiscal and monetary authorities and tough operating environments that have prevented local manufacturers from attaining growth and meeting targets. As we assess government policies framework in light of the current macroeconomic challenges, I'm being joined via Zoom by the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi-Kadir. Thank you so much for your time. It's good to have you on the show this Friday afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Yes, coincidentally, the president presented the 2023 Appropriation Bill earlier today. And I will say, because I listened to that speech, he talked about manufacturers and all that you've been going through. But first, let's do a little overview of that document. I'm looking at the oil benchmark at $73, production at 1.6 million. It looks like more like a tall order. We haven't doing less than 1 million at the moment. What do you make of it?
Yes, thank you very much. And it is a good thing that Mr. President mentioned the plight of the manufacturing sector, which is commendable because we actually now need to prioritize productivity so that we can begin to have hope that next year we portend better performance for that sector and for the economy in general. I think that there is ambition to have 1.6 million barrels, but you know, Mr. President must, I believe, have taken measures that will prevent the leakages that has prevented us from being able to produce that much. And also setting the benchmark must be after observing the global trends and what we potentially might be able to deliver. But to dwell more on, in terms of the volume that we are looking forward to, we actually need to put in the best that we can to be able to reach that production level, certainly not below it, because we are already cash-strapped, and then we must deliberately remove those measures that have limited our capacity to produce that much and sell in the international market. I think for a long time now, we've not been able to meet our quota in OPEC, and that has continued to limit our capacity to generate the right revenue that is needed to do so many things that government needs to do. So on the surface, I think, yes, even though we've not taken a better dive into the budget, but I think it portends a good feeling, yes.
Indeed, manufacturers I'm yet to get to, I saw your statement actually, we're reacting to the Monetary Policy Committee's decision, but explain to us further what this means for manufacturers. 15.5%, that's where we are at the moment.
Okay, even though many people saw it coming, the MPR, the CR had to go up, and in some other countries is heading north in terms of interest rate, but we must never forget that we need to be strategic about the way we manage our affairs in spite of the surrounding situation and challenges. For us, the manufacturing sector, no doubt, it portends harder times ahead. I mean, because access to credit at competitive rate is the one that we will require. We have always asked for single digit. So this unexpected increase from the way we look at it takes us further away from the single digit that we have always advocated for. So it portends high cost of credit for us, which is going to affect our cost of production, is going to affect the price at which we are going to sell the final product. And in the face of dwindling disposable income of the average Nigerian, this portends a high stock of unsold inventory that manufacturers have suffered. It then means that we might look forward to low sales and being less competitive with products that are coming in from economies that have lower cost rates. It also means that we might not be able to make the kind of profit that we are looking forward to. So employing back more money to expand, employing more, paying more to government is not going to be possible. So I think there has to be a strategic means of guiding the productive sector against this reality that we have in our hands.
A great one. But DG, some global issues are still affecting Nigeria, not just Nigeria, even other countries are feeling the heat at the moment. So many would say what is happening is not just limited to Africa's most populous nation. How do you react to this?
Yes, it's true. I mean, there are externalities that are beyond the control, so to say, of national economies. But what do you do in that regard? It means you need to look inwards and prioritize your, for instance, attention. I think that we have always called for, and it's not happened, that there has to be a deliberate attempt by government to engage the private sector to deal with these externalities. There has to be a Nigerian packaged policy to insulate the priority sectors from these global shocks. For instance, this liquidity squeeze that we are having and the inadequacy of credit or high cost of it, we needed to be able to create special windows to address this, because the manufacturing sector, for instance, has the capacity to help reflate the economy and to generate even the forex that is so scarce that we have now. The internationally induced supply chain challenges and so on and so forth, they are things that you can prepare local remedies for. And those are the points that we have been engaging government on. And we need more action in that regard, so that whilst we accept that there are some things that are beyond the government to deal with in terms of they are being imposed by the global environment, we need to develop local solutions that will ensure that we minimize the impact and that we are able to grow the economy to guarantee our resilience. I mean, those are the points that we are making.
Clearly stated. Now, how manufacturers should, on a normal day, should be preparing for the end of the year production and all of that. Now, how prepared are manufacturers despite all of these challenges and disruptions?
Yes, towards the end of the year, that's our boom period because people tend to buy more. And of course, manufacturers will always be optimistic. Many of our members are looking forward to it, albeit with more anxiety, because it's coming together at a time that we are witnessing possible increase in excise, which means that our products are likely to become more expensive. And so the rush to buy that we normally witness, people may become more circumspective in terms of how they spend their monies. We also know that many civil servants have not been paid in many respects. I mean, so we are not likely to see the kind of boom sales that we used to have before, and that is not a comfortable proposition for the average Nigerian manufacturer. But on the whole, one can see from the figures that we are seeing and from the interaction with manufacturers that they are still looking forward to more sales than we've been having in the first 3 quarters of the year, because it has been low sales all the way. So we are just looking forward to a little of a pump around this time. And since the budget didn't tend to dampen the high spirits that we are looking forward to, I think it may encourage manufacturers to be more optimistic about what the future portends, and then it will not dampen the attempt to invest or the propensity to invest or to expand their current levels of production.
The way it looks, inflation might still continue to increase. And this is really worrisome. And the CBN governor in the last meeting mentioned that if it continues, they might have no choice than to continue to also increase rates. If that happens, I'm looking at what will be the implication if they continue along that line.
Yeah, I think it's always a delicate balance, and I don't envy the CBN governor in this regard. It's always a delicate balance, and for most economists, they will tell you that it is not easy, and I agree. But you see, when you are confronted with situations like this, you have to pick your choice. You have to be deliberate about what is critical for you as an economy. I think that inflation is something that the CBN governor is trying very hard to manage. But probably if he pays more attention to those who are actively engaged in productivity, those that can help him through their normal economic activities to go through this rough period and this uncertainty. If I were in his shoes, I will pick my tent with the productive sector. I will do all that I can to reduce the pressures from inflation on their operations. I will do my best to ensure that I listen to their pain points and even agree with them on targets about how to get out of the situation. Every option should be thrown open, and it should be more receptive of opinions that are coming from the private sector, so that together we'll be able to weather the storm together. It is not fair to deny the fact that he's running a tough economy, just like most other parts of the world. But there is opportunity for you to look inwards and get those operators to be on your side, so that you'll be able to weather the storm together.
DG, before I let you go, let's talk about the forthcoming AGM and your theme. What is happening and why did you choose that theme for this year's AGM?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very happy to talk about it.
I know.
We are celebrating our 50th AGM on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of October at Oriental Hotels in Lagos. And the theme is specifically chosen to fit the moment. We are looking at Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who is obviously the biggest manufacturer in Africa, telling what needs to be done to help Nigeria's industrialization in the next decade. So, and this is a good time because as we are transiting from one government to the other, this will provide a very rich opportunity for the aspirants to look into the solutions that is going to offer to our economic challenges that has limited industrialization, so that in their manifestos they can reflect it, and in their economic team to be able to understand what needs to be done to promote this sector that is so vital to job creation, poverty eradication, reflation of the economy, and ensuring that we get Nigeria working and working well again. So it's actually crafted to suit the moment, and we are looking forward to using that advocacy platform to engage governments and other economic players, so that we can hope to have, at least the next 10 years, we can have our development going northward.
Interesting conversation with you as usual. Director General Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, there, Mr. Segun Ajayi-Kadir. Do enjoy your weekend and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me, Tolu.